Elon Musk's at it again, posting this on X today. Protesting attempted surprise sex is punished more than attempted surprise sex in Britain. And as usual, the richest man on the planet, and also working class hero. I mean, let's have it said, richest bloke on the planet represents the average Englishman 100 times better than human slime pond scum like Ed Millipede, who had this to say about Elon Musk just a few days ago.
Conference. We have a message for Elon Musk. Get the hell out of our politics and our country.
Yeah, look at him. A third-rate claymation politician trying to sound imposing. The man is a joke. And, obviously, he's as bent as Elton John's chopper, isn't he? Well, this is a coincidence. Dale Vince donated £5.4 million to Labour. Ecotricity, owned by Dale Vince, gets approval from Ed Millipede for another giant solar and battery farm. I thought Labour hated rich donors buying politics. Or does that just apply to Elon Musk? Yeah, it does just apply to Elon Musk. When Bill Gates or George Soros spend 20 times what Trump and his team did in the last election in the United States, it seems like everyone was cool with that. Labour sent people over to the United States, interfering in their elections, to try and get yo-yo-knickered, sloshing jizz-bowser Kamala Gobble Queen Harris elected to the presidency. So when it suits them, they're all for buying politics, aren't they? Anyway, I just went on a bit of a rant there, because the hypocrisy and stupidity of that globalist creature, Millipede, has always astounded me. But let's get to the story in question, because you might be ignorant. You might think Elon's making it up, mightn't you? You might be thick enough to actually think, even after all the videos I've made, you might actually be labouring under the delusion that an imported foreign shitbag called Kababu would actually get treated in the UK for a surprise sex incident. You might actually be daft enough to think that that bloke would get more harshly treated than 3 white fellas for talking. Yeah, you might think that. And if you do, you might also think that putting a plutonium rod under your pillow is the best way to treat a brain tumour. Right then, the story in question, I'm sure many of you have seen it by now. Elon's just doing God's work and trying to get some more eyes on it. This broke yesterday, but 3 of the Epping protesters were jailed, yes, for protesting, and they got longer sentences than the migrant who sparked the disorder in the first place. That's the aforementioned Mr. Kababu. Obviously, Sky News gleefully reported this one. 3 men jailed for violent disorder outside Epping Hotel housing asylum seekers. Stuart Williams, Martin Pegram and Dean Smith are the first to be sentenced for violent disorder outside Epping's Bell Hotel. Yeah, you know what? You can tell by the names. I don't even need to see the pictures, do I? You know that. Stuart Williams and Dean Smith. Right, put them alongside Mr. Kababu or Rudu Kanubu or my African alter ego, Matty Ngwangbo, right? And you know for a fact, as soon as the judge is reading the names off the rap sheet, he's going to go, oh, Mr. Kababu's a victim. And Stuart Williams and Mr. Smith are scum because they are the patriarchy. Yeah, that's the world these activist judges installed by a cabal. That's the world they operate in. I mean, it's a good job they all wear wigs. Because if British judges didn't wear wigs, all you'd see is purple hair, neon blue rinses, and mullets by the lunatics that pass judgment on their betters. Anyway, I might as well read you it now. We're here, aren't we? What else are we going to do? Out of morbid curiosity, let's finish the story. There they are. I mean, I suppose the one on the left's got a bit of a beard. And if you squint a bit, he's got brown eyes as well. If you squint a bit, possibly could be one of the jihadi Beatles. So the judge could have went a little bit easier on him. But the other 2, banked the right. Banked the right. 3 men have been jailed over violent disorder, outside a hotel. We all know that. Stuart Williams, Martin Pegram and Dean Smith are the first to be sentenced for violent disorder. So there's going to be a few more ending up in a slammer, isn't there? They had pleaded guilty to violent disorder at earlier hearing. Why did they do that? This is why they're getting away with it. Not enough normies watch alternative media, do they? Don't plead guilty. If you plead guilty, you're a moron. Because in this day and age, do you honestly think a jury is going to recommend jailing people like that? In the world we're living in. Not only would I not send any of those three blokes to prison, and I'm genuinely not being hyperbolic here, I would far rather trust any of those three men babysitting than any of the blokes housed in the asylum hotel. Oh yeah, Mr. Williams can watch the kids, that's fine. I'm not letting Kebabu within a mile of my house though. So please, if you watch this, if you generally don't get your news from alternative sources, stop pleading guilty. The idea that they'll give you a reduced sentence is preposterous. If you haven't learned anything from the last 5 years, you should learn that. Tony Romo was daft enough to do it last time as well. I hope he's learned his lesson. Getting a reduced sentence for pleading guilty was a thing back when the world was slightly more free. In this day and age, they will use it as an excuse to nail your scrotum to the wall and send you to prison for things you would have never got jailed for in a million years. Lucy Connolly got stitched up by the state. No jury would ever convict her, and if they're going to go the full authoritarian route, because they are, route, I've been here too long, make them own it. If they remove the juries and just start throwing the book at you with these installed judges, at least make them face the mirror while they do it and just concede the fact that you're not getting a jury trial anymore. But don't make the work easy for them. Make it as difficult for them as you possibly can. And if you do end up with a jury trial, I guarantee if there's any normal, born and raised Englishmen in the dock who don't read The Guardian, I'm telling you, they'll dig their heels in and go, not guilty. No, not guilty. Don't care, hang the jury. Multiple protests have been held outside the hotel after asylum seeker Hadush Gerbeslassie Kebabu, who lived in the hotel, lived in it. You mean the parasite that was leeching off the taxpayers in the hotel, sexually assaulted a woman and a 14-year-old. Ethiopian national Kebabu arrived in the UK on a small boat just days before he committed the assaults, and he was jailed for 12 months after a trial at Chelmsford Magistrates Court. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. And it's in the same story, so they're not even hiding it. Route to a policeman, 2 years in jail. Greasy, sweaty kebab merchant from the third world assaulting 14-year-old children and a woman, 12 months in prison. Totally reasonable. Totally reasonable. Every court case should go like that, yeah? The stronger the public opinion on the crime, the lesser the sentence should be. I think that's how it should work. Dolly pinching a Christmas tree, 13 years. Joseph Fritzl, £50 fine. That's how it'd work in the UK. Thank God he wasn't called Joseph Brown. He'd have got a suspended sentence and community service, making the tea in the local orphanage. That's the way we roll, baby. And they follow it with a general view of 5 bent coppers. And I've saved the best till last, because this is where it describes what they actually did, right? Are you ready for this? This is what the blokes who've just been jailed for twice as long as a sex pest. Sorry, a kiddie fiddler sex pest. This is what they actually did wrong. Are you ready for it? The judge added that police vans were kicked and damaged, and missiles were thrown towards the officers. But didn't actually hit any then, eh? Williams, a painter and decorator from Epping, there's a good working class job. They hate you. They hate you. Painter and decorator, they don't even need to see the rap sheet or your name. If you're a painter and decorator, Emily Thornberry, she hates your van, she hates your flags, and she hates you. So I'll tell you what, let's just skip the whole trial and lock him up for being a painter and decorator. Anyway, Mr. Williams, he got onto the roof of the Bell Hotel and attempted to ring the bell thereon. There you go. Imagine what happens if he gets put in a cell with like a big hard case, like a bare-knuckled gypsy boxing champion who broke someone's neck after a fight or something. What are you in for, Williams? I climbed on a hotel roof and tried to ring a bell. He added that Williams also kicked out at an officer. What does that mean? Didn't actually kick an officer then. What did he do? Flick his foot out in his general vicinity and climbed onto the roof of a school. Again, this bloke just likes climbing. Get a jury trial, tell them you're a professional climber and you were limbering up before an event. Easy. I'd buy that, Mr. Williams. £25 fine. An hour's community service. Just go and repaint the vandal grease on the school roof. Simple. Mitigating for Williams, Kevin Toomey said that Protect Our Kids was the reason for the defendant's involvement and he got carried away. Yeah, but obviously mitigation only works if you're a foreign man. He was jailed for 2 years and 4 months for climbing things and attempting to ring bells. Brilliant. Yeah, these are the same judges. When you get a full-blown struggle-snuggle enthusiast, they go, yeah, well, he might have donkeyed one into a 10-year-old, but, he had a rough childhood. And they go, oh, the poor mite, suspended sentence. It's unbelievable. This is just warfare on the English people. The judges need to start wearing bigger wigs and big thick glasses and fake moustaches and stuff. They should use them as a disguise because when we win, these people are going to be in serious trouble. Judge Bootneck will be presiding over their trial, God willing, and they're not getting a suspended sentence. They're getting 25 years breaking rocks and sharing a cell with the likes of Mr. Kababu, especially the female judges, because they're the ones who think, segregating prisons by sex is a ludicrous thing. And that's why big skinheads with neck tattoos, like that serial diddler Frisp, who Nicola Sturgeon demanded we put in a women's prison. Yeah, that's who the female judges can share a cell with. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yeah, so you can share a cell, Madam Justice. You can share a cell with a particularly thick-set woman with a long, bony clitoris. Where was I? Oh yeah, so he got 2 years and 4 months for nothing. Yeah, fair dues. Pegram, a 33-year-old roofer. Oh my God, he's a roofer. That's
awful. He's not a barista. He doesn't work for an NGO. He's never once pulled a shift for the Royal National Lifeboat Institution and ferried thousands of convicted sex offenders from Rwanda into the country. Oh my, he's a roofer. The worst of the worst. Lock him up.
It says he kicked a police carrier. Okay, so at least he actually did something that you could justifiably call illegal. Kicked out at, so didn't actually kick anyone. And threw a can. Well, he threw a can. Definitely worth 2 years in jail, that. The father of two, who was the main breadwinner. So again, mitigation is worthless, innit, if you're a white guy. The breadwinner for his family and has 2 children. And the judge said, don't care, 2 years and 2 months, because he threw a can. And Mr. Smith, 51, punched a shield. So yeah, he hit an inanimate object and then pushed and shoved a police officer. And obviously he had no previous convictions and cares for his 74-year-old mother, but he got 1 year and 10 months because he works in Waitrose. So he got the least of the sentences because he works in Waitrose, and obviously, Ed Millipede and Emily Thornberry need Waitrose worker to pack their bags for them because that's the shop they like to go to, don't you know? Because they like Brussels pâté and quail's eggs and cashmere blankets. Yes, marvellous. So there you go, one of the most glaring cases of two-tier justice in a sea of two-tier justice. Unbelievable. Let's finish with an image of Mr. Kababu, shall we? There he is, that's better. Mr. Kababu, who, might I remind you, sexually assaulted a child and the mother, apparently. He likes to keep it in the family. A lot of them do. A lot of them do from that part of the world. And obviously he got a slap wrist. 12-month sentence, he'll be out in 6, but I think they give him a bit in remand as well. So basically he'll be out in 3 months, yeah. And he'll be back in business, sticking his fist down the front of your kids' knickers, and you've just got to suck it up because there's no space in the prisons, because blokes who climb on roofs and attempt to ring bells. I mean, look at that, he didn't even manage to ring the bell. I bet the gypsy bare-knuckle boxer's full of contempt for him. He's like, oh yeah, I can respect a man who climbs on a hotel roof and rings a bell. But you didn't even get to the bell? No, he didn't. No, he didn't get to the bell, but he's a bell end, because he shouldn't have pled guilty in the first place, should he? Anyway, that's just my 2 cents, ladies and gents. If you disagree and you think full-blown kiddie fiddlers and surprise sex enthusiasts from foreign shores should get 4 months in prison, while roofers should get 2.5 for attempting to ring a bell, please let me know in the comments, please. Because if you're as thick as dehydrated whale spunk, I think you should bless me with the comedy gold that is your opinions. All right? Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.